কনফার্ম ঠিক আছে কাউন্সিলর এই দাদা না
Check. Check.
দিস ইজ কনফার্ম দশা এগুলো কনফার্ম ঠিক আছে যেগুলো যাচ্ছে মানে এসছে এখানে আমার দুটো আছে যে ম্যাপ এখানে ম্যাপ জোহার এগুলো কনফার্ম যখন আমি এখানে দাঁড়ান হ্যাঁ বলুন তখন এটা কি করব না আমি এখান থেকে এখান থেকে আসবো এখান থেকে উঠতে আবার আমি ধরে তুলব স্মার্ট টাচ আছেন আপনি আমার সঙ্গে চলে চিপায় থাকবেন না ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ওকে তাহলে বেরিয়ে আসবো আচ্ছা ওকে তাহলে হ্যাঁ প্রথম আমাদের এদিকে তো কারো ম্যানেজ করতে হবে দাদা এখন সবাইকে মাস্ট সিট ডাউন বলবে সিট ডাউন হওয়ার পরে ন্যাশনাল অ্যান্থেম চালু হবে ওকে ন্যাশনাল অ্যান্থেম হওয়ার পরে যখন শেষ হওয়ার পরে এরপরে শিডিউলটা তুমি দিয়েছি না দিস ইজ দ্য দিস ইজ হ্যাঁ দিস ইজ দ্য ফাইনাল ওয়ান ওকে
Please kindly have a seat. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the United Hindu Alliance UK, I welcome you all to this vital gathering, a space of unity, strength, and shared purpose. Today, we come together, stand in solidarity with those facing injustice, violence, and to spark real dialogue. We will now begin our formal program. May I request everyone to please rise and observe respect for the national anthem of the United Kingdom, Bangladesh, and India. Thank you so much. please kindly have a seat. We'll be carrying on, thank you. We now invite Mr. Gauradeb, coordinator of United Hindu Alliance UK, to lead us in a spiritual opening with a recitation from the Bhagavad Gita, the ceremonial Deep Prajwalan, and a few words to begin this evening's journey. Mr. Gauradeb, please.
Thank you, everyone. On behalf of United Hindu Alliance, I would love to say that your enormous response towards our organization for the good cause and for the atrocities in Bangladesh and other places in the world. We will remember everyone's response and support forever, and we will try to do the same. Now I will do the recitation from Bhagavad Gita. Om Parthaya Pratibuditam Bhagavati Narayanana Shayam Vyasena Gratitam Purane Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Amrita Varshinim Bhagavati Mastvadashavadhvayanim Amba Tvam Anushandadami Bhagavati Gite Bhavadeshinim Namastu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhi Fulla Aravindu Atupatra Netrahu Yanotaya Bharata Taila Purno Prajolita Jnanamaya Pradipa Prapanna Parijatayo Tatra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamriti Duhe Namaha. I will recite two verses from chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. Sri Krishna said, Yada yada hi dharmashva glaniri bhavati bharata abhutvanam adharmashva tadatmanam srijayamaham paritranaya swadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharmo samstapanartaya shambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagavan said to Arjun, he was addressing Arjun as Bharat, because Arjun was representing the righteousness. And Bhagavan is saying, whenever and wherever there will be decline in righteousness, O descendant of Bharata, I will definitely incarnate in any form, and I will try to protect the pious and destroy the miscreants. And I will do that millennium after millenniums. And this is what happens. If we think properly, he is not coming with his absolute form, but he is among us. He's coming in our form to stand for the people who is suffering all over the world. He's standing, he is raising voice through us. And if we don't raise ourselves, Bhagavan is saying no one can save us. And for that, the most important thing, it's our unity. And if we are united, we can achieve anything, anywhere and everywhere, irrespective of any race, any color, any caste. And this is the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. I will pronounce the mantra for the peace, and then I will complete the recitation of Bhagavad Gita. Tameva mata cha pita tameva, tameva bandhuscha sakha tameva, tameva vidvad ravinam tameva, tameva sarvam mamo deva deva. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhaga bhavede. Asatama sadgamayo, tamashama jyotirgamayo, mritur mamamritam gamayo. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhayo Purna Eva Abhashishvate. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you very much. We'll continue our program, and I personally thank Right Honorable MPs and all honorable councillors and all distinguished guests. Once again, a warm thank you on behalf of Hindu Alliance. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goradev. To officially welcome you all and frame today's vision, please join me in welcoming Dr. Sunil Roy, a member of our steering committee. Please put your hands together for Dr. Sunil Roy.
Just to say one extra act that our Honorable Chairman Goradev has to do, and so I would like you to give him the opportunity to enlighten the candle. So, thank you very much for being with us today. And Gorada, all the lovely, kind comments you made, and I thank you for everything that you've been doing for us. So, let me begin by saying, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I feel very privileged to be able to find you all in this house today, in this conference, United Hindu Alliance UK, Conference for Hindu Conference. I, on behalf of the organization, would like to welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our honorable MPs, councillors, community leaders, and dear friends, it's a wonderful opportunity for us to be here. Why we are here is a good reason to be here. Just to highlight on recent days what's happened, that some of you are already aware of the fact that there is violation of human rights happening against Hindus. In fact, it's not only happening now, it has been going on for decades. For decades, Hindus have endured systemic persecutions, including mob violence. They are land grabbing in their homeland, desecration of Hindu temples, abduction of people of Hindu community, and forcefully converting to another religion, and also killings. There has been a sustained effort for many, many years to erase this peaceful ancient community, our Hindu community, from its ancestral homelands. Despite it has been a grave injustice to this community, the voice of the victims often did go unheard. It's not that they cannot speak. By virtue of this peaceful community, their silence is not their weakness, it's their tolerance. The global human rights activities and all the powered organizations globally did not see it or did not feel the need to know it or see it. But this conference today, I hope it will mark an end to this kind of silence. This conference here we say, no more silence. We will say, we want to raise awareness. We want to talk and we want to seek justice. Speak the truth. What people do see, let them say what they see, not keep quiet. Keeping quiet is indirectly supporting the injustice. That's not human right. So we have to be united. This unity, it can be through united diaspora, a global community. We want to or hope to empower ourselves to seek and to fight for justice. How that can be achieved? To be more aware of it. Today's awareness through education. And so we are privileged now. Sorry. We have got social media, national media. We can focus on such violation of act. our lobbying through lawmakers like national, international human rights activists, and also where the law is being preached, House of Parliament. Also, we have to support at grassroots level where people are suffering, providing protection, providing help when they need. We need to build unity amongst us, amongst not only Hindus, or also other communities who suffer like ours. So we can all be united. It can be irrespective of language, regions, and various other organizations where, like Hindus, and others also who suffers. So here we are to build a strong partnership. We want unwavering solidarity. This is an opportunity for us to share our views. And again I say, this is not just a meeting. It's not only a conference. It's a platform to convey a message to all of us in this house and beyond. Let's say we fight for justice, speak up for truth, and cause for humanity, serve the humanity. That's the only thing I say, the world be united. In solidarity, Hindus are suffering. Let's save this peaceful community for being disintegration from us unless we save them. I pray and I hope with the last word, let us pray for and hope victory for Sanatan unity, joy, Sanatan unity. And thank you all very much once again for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Shani Roy. I would now like to introduce to you Member of the Parliament, Dagenham and Rainham, Ms. Margaret Mullane, felicitated by Mr. Bishojit Ball to stage. Please, round of applause for Ms. Margaret Mullane. Thank you so much.
Let me put you this is our facilitation.
Right.
So and to put you on hold. Yeah?
Okay. Lovely.
Yeah, let's take a photo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to start, sorry. Okay. I'd like to start by thanking you for inviting me along today. Given the large Hindu communities that I represent across Dagenham and Rainham, it really is an honour to speak here tonight. But more importantly, it's an opportunity for me to be listening. Having listened and learned much about the historic issues in Bangladesh, I know that there is much uncertainty and fear in the Hindu community. The ongoing situation is not only felt by those living in Bangladesh, but also by many of my constituents who, whilst living in the UK, where we honour religious freedoms, have relatives and friends that are living in constant fear. We've seen it throughout history, the world over, at times of instability, those seeking to divide communities for their own gain, and they take aim at minorities. We saw it 86 years ago when the world was engulfed by war, and we've seen it in this country as recently as last year, following the tragic events in Southport, which sparked the summer riots. Last month, targeted violence against Hindu communities was raised by Congress with the Modi government, quoting that in February and March there had been 76 reported attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh, leading to 23 deaths. The response to the student protests last year also resulted in outbreaks of targeted violence against Hindu communities, which was reported globally. My concern is that unless this is recognised at an international level, it will not be addressed and whole communities will continue to live in fear. This falls to other nations as much as it does to the Indian government to ensure, as our previous speaker before me said, that voices are heard. As a Member of Parliament, I will do what I can to shine a light on this situation. As a Labour Member of Parliament and a person of faith, I fundamentally believe that peace comes when all religions are acknowledged and respected, and when all people of faith are granted religious freedoms within their communities. Religious persecution and oppression of any kind has no place in a 21st century world. I'll finish how I started, as I think it's very important. As a representative from Dagenham and Raynham, I am here and I'm here to listen. Thank you.
We now move on to a short presentation highlighting the mission, impact, and current concerns the Alliance is addressing. This will give a helpful context before we hear from our further esteemed guest speakers. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I warmly welcome you to the Hindu Conference UK, organised by United Hindu Alliance. Thank you for being here, for standing in solidarity, and for caring about the truth, justice, and preservation of a culture that is too often been silenced. This gathering is more than a conference. It is a call for conscience. I want to outline the core aims of today's presentation. First, we're here to raise awareness, to shed light on a history of persecution that many do not know, to expose hidden atrocities and speak truth where there has been silence. Second, we aim to advocate for justice, for accountability, for recognition of the crimes against Bengali Hindus, and for action from both national and international bodies. Finally, we call for global support from human rights defenders, from governments, and from people of all faiths who believe in peace and equality. Let us now begin our journey through history, a difficult one, but necessary. This is a historical overview of the Bengali Hindu genocide spanning from 1947 to the present. It is based on facts, based on lived experiences, and of decades of evidence. And it is being shared to you by the United Hindu Alliance, not to stir division, but to seek justice, healing, and change. So who are the Bengali Hindus? Bengali Hindus are the indigenous people of Bengal, with a rich tradition of culture, intellect, and resilience. For decades, they've been contributing profoundly to the region's identity, and yet they've faced persistent marginalization, violence, and neglect. Today, they are not just survivors of genocide, they are survivors of global silence. And it's time we break that silence. As you can see, this is a graph of the reducing Hindu population in Bangladesh spanning across decades. We start from 1901. The graph shows a 33% of the Bangladesh population to be Hindu, and this dramatically decreases to barely 8% according to the 2021 census. The partition of India in 1947 was not just a political event, it was a humanitarian disaster. With the birth of East Pakistan, Bengali Hindus became the immediate targets of disaster, of violence and dispossession. What followed was mass exodus, families torn apart, homes abandoned, temples destroyed. The demographic began to shift here, and with every violence that followed, the Hindu population in Bangladesh began to shrink. In this this is a timeline showing what we're witnessing is not random, it's systemic. It is historical and horrifying. From the Noakhali massacres of 1946 to the brutal attacks following Durga Puja 2021 and beyond, each decade marks fresh violence, trauma, and the deafening lack of accountability. These are not isolated events, this is a pattern. As you can see, according to this graph, the attacks on Hindu communities are not just from a centralized area, they happen all across the country. So let's begin with Noakhali 1946. In a campaign of orchestrated terror, Hindu men were slaughtered, women raped or forcibly converted, and tens of thousands displaced. This wasn't just violence, it was a message that Hindus would not be safe in the land of their ancestors. It set a precedent of impunity that echoed across generations. And just 4 years after Noakhali, the Borishal and Rajshahi riots erupted. Thousands of Bengalis were killed, with widespread disappearances and horrific acts of sexual violence. Entire communities vanished overnight. The trauma drove yet another wave of migration into India. And behind each number lies a story. A mother, a child, a temple, a home, all lost yet barely remembered. If I bring your attention to the census data right at the bottom, 1942, our Hindu population was 28%, and around 10 years later, it reduced to 22%. In 1964, a false rumor about a stolen religious relic in India sparked retaliatory attacks in East Pakistan. Over 200 Hindus were killed. Homes, temples, entire colonies in Dhaka and Narayanganj were razed. What began as misinformation became justification for mass violence. The world looked away again, and Hindu families were forced to flee yet another time. 1961 census showed Hindu population declined to 18.4%. (1971) Liberation, the Liberation War. It should have been a story about freedom, but for Bengali Hindus, it became a genocide. The Pakistani army and their collaborators specifically targeted Hindus. An estimated 2 to 3 million people were killed, most of them Hindus, and over 10 million fled as refugees into India. Women were raped, villages erased, temples destroyed, and yet the world still struggles to call what this was, a genocide. 1974 census showed 13.5%. That was the population of Hindus. Independence came with a promise of secularism, but the promise was broken. The Enemy Property Act, named Vested Property Act, remained, and with it, the legal theft of Hindu land. Violence didn't stop. It became quieter, more systemic, and more insidious. The state failed to protect its Hindu citizens, and many cases enabled their dispossession. After the assassination of the father of nation Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1975, military regimes rose and the Islamist influence grew. In Khulna, Jessore, Borishal, land grabs and rapes and temple desecrations became common. These were not rogue acts. They were patterns of persecution with no legal recourse. For Hindus, the hope of equality quickly faded into fear. 1981 census showed population declined to 12.1%. In the 1980s, things grew worse. Under General Ershad's military regime, Islam was declared the state religion in 1988, a move that effectively sidelined the Hindu minority from the vision of a secular Bangladesh. Attacks on temples increased. Discrimination in jobs and politics became state-sponsored. Bengali Hindus were told again and again that they didn't belong. Events across the border in India ignited further violence in Bangladesh. After tensions over the Babri Mosque in 1989, retaliatory attacks on Hindus escalated. Homes were burned, idols destroyed, ancestral lands were seized. What was happening in India became an excuse to punish Hindus in Bangladesh with full impunity. Fear became a daily reality, and this is what caused a sharp decline in the Hindu population due to forced migration and displacement. The demolition of the Babri Masjid in India in 1992 triggered mass riots in Bangladesh. Hundreds of temples were looted and torched. Cities like Jessore, Khulna, Rajshahi, and Chittagong witnessed orchestrated attacks. These weren't just reactions. they were signs of how deeply embedded anti-Hindu sentiment had become. Violence didn't erupt spontaneously. It was mobilized, deliberate, and devastating. In 2001, following the election victory of the BNP Jamaat alliance, widespread revenge attacks were unleashed on Hindus who were perceived to have voted for the opposition. Homes, temples, businesses, all destroyed. Women and girls raped. I'd like to bring your attention to this rather controversial case that happened around that time. It was a gang rape of Purnima Ranishil. 16 people gang raped this little girl who was only 12 years old in front of her poor mother, who screamed, saying, "My daughter is only small, please come one by one. If so many come at once, my daughter will die." Homes destroyed, lives destroyed. Over 200 Hindu women were gang raped in the weeks that followed. The message was brutal. Don't vote, don't speak, don't exist. The 2001 census showed Hindu population of 9.6%. From 2010 to 20, a new weapon emerged in this decade: social media. False posts were fabricated to incite mobs. A screenshot was enough to destroy entire villages. In places like Ramu, Pabna, Nasirnagar, Hindu communities were attacked, torched, and temples desecrated, all based on lies. The digital age brought new tools for old hatred, and once again, justice was nowhere to be found. During this time, radicalism intensified. After the Shahbag movement, Islamist groups labeled Hindus as enemies of Islam, leading to violent marches and further targeted attacks. Here are some of the examples of the attacks that has happened around that decade. In 2013, Pabna, there were attacks on Hindu homes after an 11th grade student was framed with a fake social media post. In 2016, Nasirnagar, around 15 temples and 100+ homes were vandalized after a fabricated Facebook post by a Hindu fisherman. In some cases, attacks came just before elections. A brutal political strategy using fear and persecution to silence and displace. October 2021 marked another tragedy. During Durga Puja 2021, a false accusation of a Quran desecration in Kumilla unleashed violence across at least 20 districts. Idols were broken, temples vandalized, shops, homes set ablaze. Even during sacred worship, Hindus were not safe. This was not just about one event, it was the continuation of a deeply rooted pattern: violence without consequence. And then came 2024. After the collapse of the Hasina government, Bangladesh spiraled into lawlessness. In this power vacuum, extremist groups filled the void. Hindus once again became scapegoat, accused of loyalty to India or the former regime. Land was grabbed, families dragged from their homes. The cycle of violence spun even faster, and this time with no authority to intervene. This graph is an example of all the atrocities that has happened to Hindu communities across August to December of 2024, such as destruction, assault, murder, land grabs. They have all significantly increased amongst the months that went on. But I'd like to highlight the failure of interim authority. There was no force present to protect minorities, and there was absence of legal recourse. So the consequences on Hindu communities. The consequences were horrifying. Waves of violence as extremists took over, chaos, accusing Hindus of loyalty to India, Hindu property seized illegally, mob justice took over, beatings, lynchings, false accusations. Women and children bore the brunt of brutality. In regions like Chittagong, Khulna, Borishal, entire neighborhoods emptied overnight. Tens of thousands fled, and those who stayed lived in fear. These aren't just numbers, they're people, communities, lives shattered for generations. Even beyond physical even beyond physical violence, discrimination seeps into everyday life. Hindu students are bullied in school every day. Hindu job applicants are routinely excluded. Business owners face intimidation or eviction. This is structural oppression, not just what is done to Hindus, but what is denied to them. It robs not only their dignity, but opportunity, safety, and belonging. The violence inflicted on Hindu women and girls is unspeakable, but we must speak of it. Rape, sexual assault, forced conversions have become tools of terror. In many cases, these acts are carried out with complete impunity. At the same time, the right to practice Hinduism is being eroded. Festivals are disrupted, rituals banned. This is not just persecution, it is an attempt to erase a faith, a culture, a people. Organized mobs have looted temples, homes, shops with military precision. Hindu priests, caretakers, and activists have been murdered. Over and over, we hear the same story again. Attacks come at night. The police look the other way, and temples lie in ruin in the morning. These attacks are not just physical. They are spiritual assaults on identity and sacred heritage. Even spiritual leaders are not safe. Chinmoy Krishna Das, a respected ISKCON leader and minority rights advocate, has been falsely arrested on false sedition charges and denied bail. His case reflects a broader truth, that those who speak for Hindu rights are being silenced, punished, and framed. This is not justice. It is persecution through the legal system. Between August 5th to 14th, nearly 1,500 sacred objects, sculptures, murals, temples were destroyed across 59 districts. Libraries and schools tied to Hindu heritage were burned. Even the father of nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's statue, was defaced. These were not just random acts. They were coordinated assaults on memory, history, and the secular foundation of the country itself. Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council conducted countrywide survey for all atrocities orchestrated during a period of 15 days from 5th August till 20th August 2024. A total of 2,010 incidents of atrocities were committed during this period, out of which the Bangladesh police only investigated 1,700, and they found authenticity of 1,400 incidents. Unfortunately, none of the perpetrators were arrested and persecuted until now. This is a report created by the same Unity Council. As you can see, killing and murder across that period, 23 number of incidents. Attacks on places of worship, vandalism, 9. Arrests and torture of insulting religion, 64. A total of 174 incidents have been recorded. I wonder how much more might have gone unreported. Here are some of the many names listed of the individuals who have had to forcibly resign from their job and occupation solely for the fact that they are Hindu. How unfair can this get? Just because of a religion, you now don't have a source to provide your family with. To the Bangladesh government, we must ask, if these crimes are not religiously motivated, why are the temples target? Why are women raped, homes burnt, and no justice delivered? Why is Chinmoy Krishna Das behind in bars while violent criminals walk free? Why has the head of government not visited the victims? These are not rhetorical questions. They are calls for accountability, truth, and moral courage. Our 8 demands. We are not here just to grieve. We are here to demand change. We call for a special tribunal for swift trials and compensation, a minority protection law, a dedicated ministry for minority affairs. We ask that the Hindu Welfare Trust be strengthened, that temple lands be protected, and that Sanskrit and Pali education boards be modernized. These are not extreme demands at all. These are basic steps towards dignity, safety, and justice for all. Our appeal to the leaders of Bangladeshi, political, religious, and civic. We ask you to honor your nation's founding principles, build a system that protects all citizens equally, ensure Hindus and all other minorities have political representation and real power to shape their futures. Without fairness in governance, peace cannot survive. You have the authority, now show the will. Our appeal to the UK government. To the UK government and lawmakers, we ask for your voice. Condemn the violence, caution the government of Bangladesh, stand with human rights organizations on the ground, and offer humanitarian aid, food, shelter, medical support to the victims who have lost everything. Your silence would be complicity. Your support can save lives. We also call for sanctions and visa restrictions against those who directly involved in orchestrating or enabling these atrocities. Those who commit these crimes against humanity should not be allowed access or safe passage and platform abroad. And finally, support Hindu diaspora and right organizations here in the UK. They are advocating for the voiceless, and they need your partnership. I will now play a short video for you all to watch, so please can I maintain your attention for slightly longer. Thank you.
In over a decade that I've been investigating human rights abuses and politics and upheaval in over 40 countries around the world, what I'm seeing in Bangladesh is absolutely terrifying. And having visited the country was even more scary because what's happening in the country isn't being reflected within the international media. It feels like the world is looking away. But this is exactly the time that we should be paying attention, because from where I'm standing, Bangladesh isn't far behind following Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and many other countries that have gone through big revolution. Minorities in Bangladesh are under attack, and this is a crucial time for the world to be paying attention. And exactly at this time, the world seems to be looking away, and domestic journalists are also not covering what's happening. Perhaps it's because the government wants to show that they are in control, but the reality is different. And I was there, I saw it, it's terrifying. The world should be paying attention.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Right Honourable Member for this UQ. It's an important subject, and he's also raised the arrest of the ISKCON leader, and it's a place of worship I too am very familiar with, near his constituency. But Mr. Speaker, these are deep and long-standing ties between our two countries, and the Minister herself is right to point out that even though she's visited Bangladesh recently, as my right honourable friend, the member opposite, has said, the degree of escalation in the violence is deeply, deeply concerning. And what we are witnessing now is just uncontrolled violence in many quarters. And we are now watching with horror and shock as further violence is spread in Bangladesh. And all our thoughts in this House are most definitely with the diaspora community here and those who are affected in Bangladesh. These are deeply disturbing reports. The Minister herself mentioned the deadly attacks and the violence that took place during what is an auspicious period, the Durga Puja festival in 2021. So given the current instability in Bangladesh and since the departure of the former Prime Minister in August, this is a moment of deep concern. Many governments are condemning the violence and calling for peace and law and order to be restored. So I welcome the comments from the Minister, but I must emphasise that all efforts must be taken now. We have a religious leader who has now been arrested. We need to know effectively what is being done to secure his release, due process in particular, but at the same time, can the Minister give details of the government's engagement with the government on this particular matter? What discussions have taken place, and have we been robust in pursuing the right to protect life, the prevention of violence and persecution, and importantly, tolerance for religious belief? What efforts has the government undertaken to build upon the last government's work to promote freedom of religion and belief in Bangladesh? And can the Minister say what discussions are taking place with other international partners to help restore this kind of stability that we desperately need to see in Bangladesh?
Right now, Mr. Speaker, the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, who run Bhaktivedanta Manor in Elstree, the largest Hindu temple in this country, in Bangladesh, their spiritual leader is under arrest. Hindus across Bangladesh are being subject literally to death by their houses being burnt, their temples are being burnt, and there was an attempt today in the Bangladesh High Court to rule that ISKCON should be banned from the country. This is a direct attack on Hindus. Now, this is a threat from India now to take action. We have a responsibility because we enabled Bangladesh to be free and independent. Now, whatever the change of government has been in Bangladesh, it cannot be acceptable that religious minorities are persecuted in this way. So far, we've only had a written statement from the FCDO, so could the leader enable an oral statement on the floor of this House so we can bring to the world's attention what is going on in Bangladesh?
But he's absolutely right to highlight these issues. We support freedom of religion, belief everywhere, and that includes in Bangladesh. And I will certainly ask the Foreign Office to look into whether they can come forward with a statement about what's happening to Hindus in Bangladesh.
Laura Kirksmith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many constituents in Aylesbury have raised these concerns about the safety of Hindus in Bangladesh, and they've shown me extremely concerning social media content containing threats to Hindus to leave the country or face extermination. Does the Minister agree that this is unacceptable, and can the Minister outline what representations she has made to the Government of Bangladesh to ensure that those who are inciting and perpetrating this violence are held to account?
I thank the Honourable Lady, and she's doing the excellent work representing her constituents who are concerned about these acts of violence. And I want to impress upon her that the UK was one of the first ministerial support to arrive in Dhaka and to speak with the Chief Advisor, Professor Yunus, and to be vocal in support of minorities.
Members of the Hindu community in mid-Buckinghamshire have contacted me deeply concerned about the situation in Bangladesh, and I urge the Minister to take every diplomatic step possible to protect Hindus in that country. And in that vein, can I ask her if she believes whether Bangladesh's constitution, which guarantees equal status and equal rights in the practice of religion, does provide for a reliable legal basis through which to domestically prosecute cases of religiously motivated violence?
We stand ready to assist Bangladesh as it goes forward with its difficult roadmap towards elections eventually. And today's question is so important because law and order is crucial at this fragile time. But we are there to be friends, to be supportive, and to provide any legal assistance that we can offer that country as it goes forward.
Increasingly concerned about the anti-Hindu violence in Bangladesh. Since last August, there have been reports of over 2,000 incidents of violence, most of which have been targeted against the minority Hindu community. I've seen further disturbing reports of the arrest and continuing custody of the former leader of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Chinmoy Krishna Das. Would the leader update the House or ask the Foreign Secretary to make a statement on the assessment he has made and the action his department has taken to engage with the new government in Bangladesh so that they can support the right of people from all religions to live free?
As a member of Congress, I introduced a resolution that called for the protection of Hindus and religious minorities in Bangladesh, people who continue to be targeted and persecuted to this day. Now, the height of this persecution actually began 50 years ago when the Pakistani army systematically murdered, raped, and drove from their homes millions of Bengali Hindus because of their religion and ethnicity. On March 25th, 1971 was the beginning of a systematic targeting of Hindus in Bangladesh by the Pakistani military. It began in Hindu neighborhoods and villages, first at Jagannath Hall, which was a Hindu dormitory in Dhaka University, where 5,000 to 10,000 people were killed on that first night alone. This genocidal campaign continued for 10 months, resulting in 2 to 3 million people killed, hundreds of thousands of women and girls raped, and more than 10 million forced to flee their homes. U.S. Senator Ted Kennedy went to visit the Bangladeshi refugees at that time and said, quote, "Nothing is more clear or more easily documented than the systematic campaign of terror and its genocidal consequences launched by the Pakistan Army on the night of March 25th. Hardest hit have been members of the Hindu community who have been robbed of their lands and shops, systematically slaughtered, and in some places, painted with yellow patches marked H. End of quote. Now, the Islamist, not to be confused with Islam, the Islamist persecution of Hindus and other religious minorities in Bangladesh didn't end with Bangladesh's independence. That campaign continues to this day with horrific targeted attacks, murders, homes being burned down, and families who continue to be forced to flee. In the early 1900s, Hindus made up roughly 33% of the Bangladesh population. Because of this persistent Islamist campaign targeting Hindus, just 8% of Bangladesh's population are Hindus today. Just a few days ago, in Bangladesh, hundreds of hardline Islamist extremists attacked Hindu temples, destroyed a train, set fire to government buildings, the press club, and public buses, leaving dead and injured behind. Unfortunately, the Islamists' campaign of terror against Hindus, other religious minorities, secularists, atheists, and others in Bangladesh is not unique. It's been going on for centuries.
And with that, I conclude today's presentation for this evening. I hope this was an informative presentation and we can sympathize more with the people that have suffered and continuously suffer in Bangladesh currently, and start to raise awareness all throughout wherever we go. Joining us now, I would like to invite Member of Parliament for Ilford South, Mr. Jas Athwal, whose consistent support for human rights and inclusive values is deeply appreciated. Please welcome him on stage, felicitated by Mr. Amitesh Majumdar, Steering Committee Member, United Hindu Alliance. Please come on stage.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and special thanks for showing us the film, the presentation, which lays out in stark reality the truth that is going on. I'd like to begin by offering my sincere gratitude to the United Hindu Alliance for organizing this important conference, for all the vital work that they do, namely representing Hindu communities, fostering community cohesion, and advocating for fundamental right of freedom of religion. The UK's relationship with its Hindu communities is deep and long-standing. Just a few days ago, in VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, I spoke in Parliament about the invaluable contribution of Hindu soldiers who served in our armed forces and helped Britain win the Second World War. They actually helped win the First World War as well. You know, those brave soldiers who came to an alien land to fight in a war that wasn't theirs, in a quarrel that didn't concern them, but they came here shoulder to shoulder to make sure that we were there for the freedom of the world. These ties are built on our shared values, hard work, mutual respect, and tolerance of those from all faiths. It is these values that makes places like Ilford and Barking so special in our communities. People of many religions, races, and cultures don't just live side by side. They work together, support one another, and build stronger neighborhoods. But as we're all too aware, these values of tolerance and mutual respect are under threat around the world. I know many of us here are particularly concerned about the disturbing rise in the violence and discrimination, as was shown in the slides and on the videos, against the Hindus in Bangladesh. Since August last year, over 2,000 instances of violence have been reported, mostly targeting Hindu communities. And we've seen reports of homes burned, businesses looted, and mob attacks taking place. ISKCON leader Chinmoy Krishna Das still remains in custody, despite the High Court's ruling for him to be released on bail. These are sickening developments that threaten to violate basic human rights. I know that my Hindu friends and neighbors in Ilford South share my concerns. Since becoming MP, I've spoken to many of the Hindu constituents and local leaders. They've told me about the family members facing persecution, campaigners being detained, and loved ones being treated like second-class citizens. We cannot be silent. We must always stand up against religious violence and intolerance wherever it occurs. Earlier this year, as you will have seen on the video, I raised these concerns in Parliament and will continue to work with colleagues in the Foreign Office, including David Lammy and Hamish Faulkner, who I meet regularly to discuss the violence in Bangladesh, to ensure the UK government takes the issue seriously. Tolerance is the foundation of our society. It's what allows our communities to flourish. In East London, in Bangladesh, and across the world, we cannot allow that foundation to be undermined. We must continue to stand together, speak out, and fight for peace, justice, and freedom. Thank you again for having me here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jas Atwal. That was very inspiring, and we are very grateful for your support. I'd now like to invite Councillor Moin Kadri, London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, felicitated by Mr. Shipon Barbon, Steering Committee Member, United Hindu Alliance UK. Please come on stage. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Oh, okay. All right. Let him. Çalışın, görün. Joldi. Thank you. Thank you for honoring me. As the presenter says, my name is Moin Kadri, and I am the Mayor of Barking and Dagenham. Originally, I'm from Bangladesh, and what is going on at this moment is in Bangladesh, it is unexplicable and unexpected. We are true believer, as our honourable MP from Redbridge rightfully mentioned, that we are the true advocate of humanity. We are the true advocate of peace and justice. At no cost, we do want that anybody could be discriminated, not treated equally. And at the home of Great Britain, we have no place for any discrimination at any shape or form. My friends, you saw on the presentation that we was the backbone when Bangladesh born in 1971, and we all know that the four fundamental pillars of Bangladesh and which one of them was secularity. My question to the leaders around the globe: where is secular Bangladesh right now? Where is our peace and justice? As a person, I believe if we fail to respect ourselves, if we fail to dignify those they contribute positively, we will fail as a nation. At the moment of time, the tolerance level as a human being in the land of Bangladesh is outrageous. Unlawful killing, the burning houses, especially for the ethnic minority, it is unacceptable at any shape or form. My personal solidarity with those they are suffering every day. Let's unified, let's stand together, let's fight those they're trying to put us down. My support and solidarity is towards your movement, and my support and solidarity will continue. Thank you for inviting me, and wish you all the very good of luck.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moin Kadri, for your wonderful speech. Just bear with us 1 minute, please. Thank you for bearing with me, everyone. It is now time for our panel discussion, a chance to reflect on today's themes and ask important questions. Please welcome Mr. Haradun Bhomik, Steering Committee Member, United Hindu Alliance, UK, Mr. Samir Dash, Steering Committee Member, United Hindu Alliance, UK, and finally, Mr. Vikram Banerjee, BHAS, UK. Please come on stage. Thank you so much.
Check.
Hello.
Check. Oh.
Good evening. On behalf of Hindu Alliance UK, we humbly welcome all of you for taking the time and travel to come here and join us in this conference. So we are here to answer your questions. Whatever the questions you ask, we would try to give you applicable answers, whatever possible. Thank you. And my name is Haradhan Bomi. আমার পাশে আছেন মিস্টার সমীর দাস আর আছেন আমাদের বিক্রম ব্যানার্জি ধন্যবাদ
Good evening. I'm very delighted to be the part of this organization, the Hindu Alliance. So the floor is yours. You can ask any questions if you want. But before that, I can say you have seen all the slides and you have a full, clear idea what is happening in Bangladesh at the moment. But my opinion in this, that what is happening in Bangladesh is actually a crime against humanity. And we can say it is ethnic cleansing. We can say it is a grace violation of human rights. So we want that British government, United Nations, Universal Periodic Review, all this international community to do whatever they can do to protect these minorities. As you have seen, the decline from 33% to now today maybe 7% or 7% plus. So if it continues, then we don't know, because Mr. Abdul Barkat, he has his professor from Dhaka University, he has researched that he every day 700 plus people left Bangladesh disappearing, where they are going. And the chairman, former chairman, Mr. Mizanur Rahman, professor from Dhaka University, he said that after 20 years, there should be no minority, there will be no left in the minorities in Bangladesh. That is going to be happen. And so please, if you have any question, we'll try to give answer. We can see all these people here. Thank you, you come, you have sacrificed your time, you came here and you are joining with us, and we are all in the same boats. Please ask any question if we can help you to answer that question. Thank you.
Namaskar. I just request everybody could participate. We already got a very good presentation which gives us insight about the extent of violence and continuous attack. We also have some appeal to the international community, but the questions that we don't know but we can expect is more insightful. Why it is happening? How, what kind of actions we could take, and what is the road ahead? Something like that. So my question would be, please join, be engaging. We will try to be short, concise, and to the point. Thank you.
So what you said makes a lot of sense. My question is very simple. Wherever we have seen, this type of, change in demography, a set of, group of extremist mindsets have tried to, ruled over the minorities. In UK, I'm not sure how these numbers are changing, but what are we doing in terms of, to make aware UK government? Are we doing any petitions? There is a minority fund for some other groups. Is there any minority fund protection for Hindu groups? Are we raising that sort of voice to the government?
So if I understood question correctly, what is happening in Bangladesh, similar pattern of extremism happening as well here, is it the question?
I mean, yes.
Yeah. And change of demography, and then also in the context of Bangladesh, what British government is doing. I can quickly mention a lot of protest, awareness, and campaign was happening. Nobody is going to do anything unless we are going to stood up collectively and raise our voice. And that is happening, but we need more. After that, there was an email and later gone to Prime Minister's office and David Nabi's office. 5th of February, I was part of that delegation. Unfortunately, there are a group of 5 organizations met Catherine West, and we provided all the data and reports, and we asked for some tangible actions, and the minister promised. A lot of diplomatic level conversation happened, but the result is very limited. So it needs more concrete action. One of the things that we requested, we haven't seen that action yet. British government gives significant amount of money, around 110 million pound or maybe more, as aid to Bangladesh. The first thing it should stop, that aid should stop until democracy and people's right prevails again. We requested. Another thing, when this aid goes, and a lot of help should go there, if it goes through a rogue regime until the democracy restored, and democracy means it's not a managed democracy. Every political party should get participation. Doesn't matter, a fresh election. Until that happens, the money should go through international community. So some of the work is done. I would request one action for everybody here to do. If I ask any of the children, which is year 10, 11, GCSE here, anyone here from children? Yeah, one, I can read a few. Or parents. Do you know in our history in UK and humanity, everybody knows about genocide, Holocaust, right? It's a great genocide in the Europe. Nobody knows about what genocide happened in the Indian subcontinent. We can use the word Hindu genocide, and there are many genocides happen in the world. We need to make sure we make the effort that 1971 genocide become the history book of our UK syllabus. And we need to work towards that. So I have a very specific request. How many of you can raise your hand? You have a children in GCSE or secondary level? Okay? Few hands here. Many of you have children at home. Make effort. Go to your school. We can provide the content. We can work with the organization there. We have friendly organizations. You can approach your school. School will give you the opportunity to have an assembly speech by your daughter or son. We have exhibition material there. They will allow you to do that. Create awareness in 100+ schools. And eventually we can then create narrative to urge and force our UK government education department to include these as part of the history syllabus. Thank you.
Next one, please.
Thank you. So I'm Councillor Amaverdi from the London Borough of Newham. I'm the Cabinet Member for Community Safety and Crime and Cabinet Member for Housing Needs. I want to thank the United Hindu Alliance for welcoming me here today. I think the PowerPoint was very powerful, and thank you for our distinguished guests, honourable members of Parliament that have come and supported this initiative. I think one of the things that touched me, which was really important, is around the level of awareness and voice that we all have to recognise what's happened to the Hindu community. In Newham, we have a strong community of Hindus and those that represent from the Bangladeshi community as well, just as much. You touched upon one really important point, which is the call to action that we all have and a role to play. I think you took my question out of my mouth in a way. In my role, I suppose, as a political ally, you have my support in terms of what we do for the Hindu community, because just as much as I represent Newham, I'm a public servant to everybody, whether it's on Redbridge, for Barking and Dagenham, in my role as a public servant to you all. So once again, thank you for having me. My question to you, and I suppose to all the community here, is what more can we do? Because I've seen your missions of what is empowering us to do more. But what else could we do as individuals and as a community to come together to make sure that the Hindu community is recognised and those levels of atrocities and genocides are not forgotten? Because fundamentally for me, there is a legacy in history that shouldn't be forgotten, and we have to continue to raise awareness. So my question to the panel is, what more can we do, as you've got the political support of whether it's Stephen Timms, we've got our Assembly member Umesh Desai here as well, apart from us as political allies to yourselves, what more can we do as a community to show support to the Hindu community? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amar. Thanks for coming and raising this issue. I'm also resident of Newham. I'm proud to be resident of Newham, and I appreciate your engagement and concerns about our all the atrocities and all the problems. Thing is that, first of all, we need to create awareness among us to raise our voice against this discrimination, against these atrocities, against this inhuman behavior of the government, of the local bodies, or all the policy makers. There and here as well. Wherever we are discriminated, we need to raise our voice. And then you need to be united. You need to, all the members of the community to get together and we raise our, just like that, it's an initiative from us to make our efforts to get together and raise our voice. And we need your support. We need support from lawmakers like members of parliaments, councillors, mayors, and all political and religious leaders as well, community leaders. Everybody, we need a peaceful and help local engagement, everybody, engagement from everyone to raise our voice, to establish our rights, human rights, establish our all peaceful living here in Bangladesh. Thank you.
In your terms, I'll add some more. I always say, how many people, a lot of people here, everybody has to write their own MP regarding this issue. Then international community like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Federation, so all this, and then United Nations. So those, they have the responsibility. Like United Nations, they have 193 members in the United Nations. So when there is every 4 years, every country has to disclose their human rights situation in United Nations, which is called Universal Periodic Review. So if this Amnesty International, suppose, or Human Rights Watch, they create any reports and they can ask the question, that time any government, British government, even the lawmakers who is going in that, representing the government, like a foreign office, foreign affairs committee, whoever it is. So we have to lobby with all this to make, as Harananda said, awareness. Because a lot of MPs, they don't know what is happening. So we need to know. Like I personally met Mr. Atwal MP in the parliament. So he knows all this, what is happening. That's why he came today with our concern, and he is also very sympathetic all our issues. So that is how we can lobby and we can put this in the international forum. So that international forum can help us all this humanitarian situation, what is happening at the moment, and all these atrocities at the moment to stop immediately. And suppose in the terms of the law, we can pursue the Bangladesh government. There should be Minority Protection Act. There should be Minority Rights Commission. That sort of such things is not there. So those sort of things British government can put when they have a bilateral relationship, when they have the communication with the foreign office to foreign office, they can put their issue. This has to be done. Thank you very much.
I don't want to extend it. I just want to say a few actionable items. What we should do to stop. Something has to be done at the minorities in Bangladesh. And when you talk about Hindus only, it's not only Hindus. The attack is happening on other minority, Christian minority, Buddhist minority, even some Sikh minorities. And also the political minorities there, like anybody who have a different political belief, which is not the narrative now, is being attacked. So they need to unite, and some of the work has to happen in the ground level. They cannot have a voice, and some of the probably work is doing that. What we could do, what the political class here can do, is first of all, this kind of conference should not happen only once. Birmingham, we did conference. Doesn't matter which organization doing that. We are all friendly organization. Our organization did, and then Basingstoke, Dartford is happening in June. We need to do conferences as much possible every parliamentary constituency. We all know our MPs can only attend if the event is happening in their parliamentary constituency. So choose the venue, invite councillor, create awareness. Schools, create awareness. That is we should do. what UK government can do, UK government has moral responsibility because the colonial masters were part of the partition of India. And when that happened, a rogue ideology of a nation born based on hatred, which is Pakistan, and I will be politically incorrect because I'm telling the truth. And because of that, East Pakistan, the Muslims who are Bengali-speaking Muslim, they are being persecuted, and minorities, Bangladesh born, it's supposed to be secular. Same ideology, again causing the persecutions continuously. Britain has a moral right to sort it out, along with other superpowers and growing superpower like India, America, and others. The civilized Western world and Commonwealth country. We must create pressure, the fresh election, and the tools and mechanism which can protect the minorities in Bangladesh. Otherwise, no money, and there are other tools are there to be used. What we need to do here, our political class, again, make these genocide part of the history book. Then we don't have to have conference every time to educate our children. Another thing, it is very important for this country, the question being asked, right-wing extremism with the narrative, oh, you all are foreigners and you go out, this is also going. And Islamist extremism also growing in this. So there are three types of extremism we can see in the UK. Ultra-right-wing extremism, ultra-left-wing extremism, and Islamist extremism. This country, our next generation, is also going to suffer. So we must unite, we must educate, we must equip our next generation, irrespective of race and belief and color, that the universal value of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is the value of British democracy, and through that, we might create a deterrent in this country's extremism. Otherwise, don't live in the fool's paradise. This extremism can create a divide and worse situation in decades to come. So there are a lot to do. Next question, please.
Next one, please.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Om Joshi. I'm a resident of Redbridge. I have a small question. Like you mentioned earlier, in 1948, East Pakistan was given independence, and the reason East Pakistan and West Pakistan was created because of the Muslim majority in those areas. Now, knowing that there's a Muslim majority, under what expectation did the Bangladesh people expect that they will treat the Hindus fairly? Because we can see today in all the countries where the Muslim majority is getting bigger, they have issues of Islamization. And you're sitting here relying on conferences, talking to MPs and expecting the world to do something. You mentioned the Holocaust, and you know exactly what the Jews did to save themselves and to create their own country. And if all we can do is have conferences, lobby the MPs, and expect that the world will come and save the Bangladeshi Hindus, I don't think it's enough. The whole of the Western world, Europeans, even Britain itself, is having problems with Islamization, and I understand it's in their scriptures that they want to Islamize the whole world, and we're sitting here hoping that just because we lobby somebody and we hold conferences that the problem will be solved. We could have learned from about 78 years of East Pakistan and Bangladesh independence under a Muslim majority and 1400 years of Islamic history as to how they want to treat the world, and yet we expect by holding some lobbies the problem will be solved. Maybe we should wake up, learn from the Jews, and do something more active than just holding conferences and lobbying MPs.
Yeah. Thank you. What you thinking, that's the same thinking of us, this same concern, all of us. We are facing the problems since 1947. That's today's video, that's the Exodus. Yeah, that is our effort. This is part of our effort to do something so that this does not continue. How can we stop? How can we take actions to stop it, to prevent it? That's the thing. This is the part of our efforts. We are trying our best as much as possible through the legal process, through our continuous trying to go to the people, to create awareness, to lobbying with the political parties, governments, and leaders, other people here. So, thing is that once the global changes, you know that when the government are being changed in Bangladesh, then all the things have been changed. 1975, when the secularism was the main motto of our country, one of the four principles was secularism. But after 1975, it has been demolished. It has been totally opposite, and Islamization was started in Bangladesh. Then all the fundamentalists and other political parties, they took part in the politics. They came to the power. Then started our genocidal process. We have been suffering this. We are trying to stand against this. That's our efforts, part of this. And we will continue this. I think this is not one thing that we can stand up and stop this. We have to raise our voice. We have to raise from every corner, wherever it is possible. Now, today we are doing a conference, but we can do so many things to create and make a noise, make a voice against these atrocities, to stop this. Thank you.
Other speaker, I just answered to this question. Let us not be pessimist. Let us not think about that. We are not able to do that anything with conference. I agree. This Islamist narrative has to be addressed. If Bangladesh does not fall in line, I am saying very controversial, they will have a different fate. And we must need to protect the Hindus. Some battle has to be fought by the Hindus, a united way, in a disciplined manner in Bangladesh, and we need to provide support. Some of the work that we can do here using institutions to raise awareness, use the institutions. But our Hindu, how many of the children of ours are known about what is happening in Bangladesh and they really feel about that? A section of our next generation. So we have a problem to solve in that. Rest assured, I could not share many information. The work on the ground to unite the Bangladeshi Hindus are happening. It might be a decades project, but we Hindus across the globe is awakened. There may be 20-30% of the Hindus are awakened, and impact of that is visible in the world. If more and more Hindus become awakened and united, we'll get the result. I do not know the timeline though. Question.
So we're gonna We're gonna take two more questions, okay? So okay, she was asking first. So one more and one from you, okay? So we are running behind. So yeah, that should be okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Maruna Bala, and I'm an independent researcher. I have two questions as we have a very short time. The first question is that, do you think the present Hindu law in Bangladesh can genuinely ensure the right of Hindu women like Hindu women minority groups for the women? Do you think it's really ensuring the justice or ensuring the human rights of the Hindu women in Bangladesh, the remaining Hindu law? And the second question is, do you think the bail of Chinmoy Krishna Das is truly prevailing the significant changes to the minority groups and also to the justice of the system in Bangladesh? Thank you.
First of all, Bangladesh, there is no separate law for Hindu women or Hindu laws.
Sorry for interrupting. Hindu law is a personal law. I know there is no separate law. But in India, if we look at our neighbor country, India, they completely modified their Hindu law. But unfortunately, in Bangladesh, even though so many women activists, they're trying their best to modify the Hindu law, but they're failing. Even some of the strong community groups, like Hindu, the Christian, they're also trying. They put some important questions to ensure the right to property, for example, or right to divorce, or right to, there's some like right for the women. That's what I'm asking.
That's right. Women right is different, but we are struggling, first of all our common problems. Common problem is our existence. Our existence is going to be demolished day by day. We are now 8% from 33%. Yes. We have to address this thing first. And also there are Hindu personal laws there in Bangladesh. We obviously will try to do some work on it. We will raise our voice if there is any discrimination, if there is any concerns from our women. But the thing is that we have to save our women first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we could have taken tiny steps through the women, I think maybe if we would have taken steps earlier, now we wouldn't face these difficulties. That's what my personal opinion as a woman. That's why. And the second question which I asked, like, recently they give a bail to our Chinmoy Krishna Das, but it stopped in the appellate division. But still it's in hanging position. He is not released yet. So do you think the bail is enough?
There is some motivated thing behind this. Because Chinmoy Krishna Das was initially arrested on a sedition case. The sedition, that was false case even though. But initially he was not given any lawyer even. His bail was not being heard in the court. The lawyers were not allowed to come to the court. Even then, after our campaign, our pressure by lobbying to the governments, then Bangladesh government allowed us a team of lawyers to go to Chittagong. After that, the case was referred to the High Court. Yes. Then High Court has agreed and issued a bail. Unfortunately, the government has a bad motive. That's why they canceled the bail. And they arrested him on charge of another 4 cases. Extra 4 cases now he's accused of. And he has been arrested. He's now in prison for 5 cases.
Yeah, this is now that's how the current government designed their justice system.
That's right. We have to fight for it. We have to raise our voice because this is inhuman, illegal. And the thing is that all the cases are false. So we have to raise our voice. We have to pursue the governments. We have to pursue the international bodies that the arrest of Chinmoy Das Prabhu is not legal and it's against the humanitarian law, humanitarian ground. So we have to raise our voice against it. That's it.
How can we present the current human rights for our Bangladesh. If you could have just give a
There is no human
slight
rights in
idea.
Bangladesh now. There is no human rights in Bangladesh now. No legal system
No, there
is
is
working
not,
now.
but they are part of the convention because the Bangladesh has signed as a listed country. That's why I'm saying.
But
Can
this
we
is
use
the
it?
thing. Government is showing that they are following, but actually they don't follow it. Bangladesh government, they don't follow. Otherwise, they could have not been imprisoned. They could not imprison Chinmoy Prabhu.
Okay, thank you
They
so much.
cannot arrest him. They cannot arrest him because he does not have any proof that he did any mistake for this. Thank you.
Is it the last question? Okay, last question.
So last, I think we're going to take one more. Okay, is that okay for you?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Namaste. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michel André Pongo, Michael Pongo, and I have the honor of serving as a councillor in the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham. I want to thank the United Hindu Alliance UK for this vital gathering and for inviting me to stand in solidarity with the global Hindu community, especially our brothers and sisters in Bangladesh who continue to endure unimaginable hardship and persecution. I fully support efforts to protect religious freedom and human rights wherever they are under threat. As an elected representative, I know the power of storytelling and advocacy. So I want to ask the panel, how can we, as councillors, community leaders, and organizations better use digital platforms and media partnerships to amplify the voices of persecuted Hindu communities in Bangladesh and ensure that stories break through the wider public and policymakers? Thank you.
Thank you. The answer to the question is how you can amplify. I think you have, I thank you for your sincerity to amplify this. As a councillor, you can bring resolution in your local council, pass the resolution against the atrocities in minorities happening in Bangladesh. B, you can take post, social media, your popular leaders, about today's, take some pictures from this exhibition and create some awareness. And when we run this campaign, which probably will start after we have these different schools and conferences, 100 conferences, to include the Hindu genocide in the history book, please support that, whichever political party you are. Last question.
Hello, yeah, this is going to be last question, Dada. Can I ask Mr. Gaurapada to raise his last question, please, Dada?
Thank you very much, panel members. I just want to ask, we are discussing about the international violence in Bangladesh and any other places. But my concern about the young generation of this country, as I mentioned in many meetings, that our Hindu children and other religions are being pressurized by the extremist Islamism that to convert them to in their religion. So what can we do for that to save our children? Because at present, I mentioned it before, about 26 families I have been dealing with, young children aged 14 to 22, and some of them are in really bad situations. So is there anything we can do? What is your suggestion? Thank you.
Very good. I will take this question because I am currently actively dealing with a attempted religious conversion in the university. It's happening in the East London. It's Bangladeshi Hindu community, young boy. Now, we have an organization called Hindu Support Network. It is a small organization specialized with about 50 odd volunteers across the country who help create awareness, and also those who are victim of religious conversion business in this country by Islamists, and I'm very conscious about the term, not Islamic Islamist. They provide support to parents, and in many cases successfully those boys and girls comes back. Way to do that is we need to create a lot more eyes and volunteers on the ground where these are the universities breeding ground. Couple of days back, I was having a quick phone calls and meeting what to do. We are planning from Hindu Support Network, or we'll be working with Hindu Alliance. We need to organize a conference on grooming, sexual grooming, and religious conversion happening in the UK. How to prevent that, and we also need in different part of our country, even if 2 people in one town who will be volunteering as a Hindu Support Network volunteer, we can provide them training. As far as the parents, we have a responsibility. Don't make your children just as a cage parrot who just do ritual, and don't make your children as a ritualistic Hindus only. Ritualistic Hindus mean you go to mandir, you do prayer, you put tika, that's it. That will not stop from the evil design of Islamists who are doing this religious conversion business, not only in Bangladesh or any other country, in this country as well. So you need to talk and make that aware the threat of these groups at your household. Don't be afraid of telling the truth. Spade is spade. Also talk about Islamization and Islamic terrorism, Islamic extremism with facts. Don't hide it, but don't put color on it. But at the same time, mention about that Muslim people in large majority, they are found to be peaceful. So they are not our enemies. So no, we are not creating any divide, but talk about this extremist ideology. As a parent, I started talking to my daughter at age of 10. My wife said, "Why are you saying that?" And I said, "I'm fulfilling my duty." And I can tell, honestly, she is well equipped with the facts. And not only that, she has been trained to be mindful what is happening in her school, within the community, and if any warning sign comes, she immediately talks to us and we take action on that. So we need to take the responsibility as a parent. I can work with the Hindu Alliance and other organizations to organize local conferences on awareness conferences and training. You all can spare some time and become expert in the prevention of this religious conversion. And I know Godada is doing a lot of work. Thank you.
Thank you all the panel members. So this is, he's gonna be asking, it's not a question, so you wanna say something about?
I second what the last gentleman just said about Islamic threats. There's a big Dawah project. They're giving out free Qurans. You just walk along Oxford Street on a Sunday, there are about 4, 5, 6 stalls giving free Qurans. Who's paying for this? It's all nice printed books in all several languages. So there's a big effort on Islamic groups. They're based in the Middle East, I think, Kuwait, Qatar, they're financing all this. And the Hindu children are vulnerable. If you like, I quite accept what you said, wonderful. If Hindus are only following the rituals of going to Mondays and putting a tikka on their head, that's no good. You start teaching them the Vedas from young, the Upanishads, the Puranas. People don't know about Hinduism, the richness of what we have. This is why we become very vulnerable to Islam. I've read the Quran many times. I come from a Muslim country. I've read the Hadiths and the Sunnah. Now, if you look deeply into what's in there, it's all written in black and white. They want to convert everybody. They want to make the whole world Darul Islam. And anything that's other than that's infidels, kuffar, najis, mushkarin, all these very bad names. So, to understand what we are up against is to unify. The Hindus should unify. And also those Bangladeshi Muslims in this country. You're Bangladeshis, I'm not. But do they see you as somebody different, a different Bangladeshi? You all stood up to the Bangladeshi national anthem, so you are one. So why are you different, just based on religion? But that is the truth. Your population of Hindus has come down, and now you've got Pakistan and India. So that will reflect in Hindus suffering in maybe in Bangladesh as a result of that. So I'm just sort of seconding what you just said and what the other gentleman said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for your patience to listen to us and giving us the opportunity to answer your questions. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing. I think consciously the organizer of this event, they said it's Bengali Hindu genocide. Bangladesh is only born in 1971 after war, but Bengali Hindu genocide, part of the Hindu genocide, like Kashmir genocide and others, is happening long for centuries. Only the documented probably 100, 150 years we can get more profound evidences. So here in the UK, let's forget about what is happening in Indian subcontinent. There are people who will probably going to sort it out. We need to do our duty. We are about nearly 2 million people. We are 2% of the population and we contribute 8% of the GDP. So we need to present ourselves, assert ourselves as a one identity, in a bigger identity. Don't have to give the Bengali identity or Gujarati or others. That we are British, Hindu and Indians. Why am I using the word Indian? Because whether you are Pakistani Hindus or Afghani Sikhs, or we all have civilization connection with India, which is the Bharat. We cannot deny that. And when you say British Hindu, any Hindus, irrespective of their country, are representing that. It could be Sri Lankan Hindu, it could be Bangladeshi Hindu, Indian Hindu, Pakistani Hindu, Afghani Hindus. And when you say Indian, then Sikh community, which is a dharmic faith, Buddhist community, Nepali Buddhists, they all come into one fold because they are also part of the same sort of belief and same sort of civilization and value. And also there are some patriotic Indian Muslim who believe in that civilization value. So British Hindu and Indian, that should be our assert. Then only 2 million people, 2 million votes will make sense to our politician. I was just looking at demography of the two of the MPs came, and in the demography, Sikh and Hindu numbers are quite astonishing. It's good, about 15,000. We could be deciding factor for deciding who is going to win or not. Our councillors, end of the day, all politicians looks at the number, use that number game, make them, educate them who are sincere irrespective of the party, stand solid with them. Like our councillor here is sincere, during the election campaign, vote for them, do canvassing. But those who are not sincere, punish them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Haradhan Bhaumik and Mr. Samir Das, steering committee members, and Mr. Vikram Banerjee, Bhas UK, for that very interactive Q&A session. Moving forward, I would now like to invite Mr. Umesh Desai, member of the Greater London Authority, felicitated by Mr. Shurnijit Gupta, steering committee member, UHA. Thank you.
Good evening, friends. My name is Umesh Desai. I'm the London Assembly member for City and East London, which covers City of London, Tower Hamlets, Newham, Barking and Dagenham. And thank you for inviting me to say a few words. I will be brief. It's nearly 8:30, and people who have spoken earlier, MP Jazatwal, Margaret Milan, the Mayor of the Council, Councillor Moin Kadri, I've already said what I was going to say. So my observations are basically going to be around what we can do practically. But can I just say that today I went to the Wellens Museum to mark Victory in Europe Day. And if you have the chance, go into the museum. Gandhiji was in Noakhali when the rioting in 1947 was going on. He was not in Delhi celebrating independence with the members of the Constituent Assembly. He was there trying to calm the communal violence. He came to this country in 1938, went to Wellens House Museum in Dagenham, and he left behind his spinning wheel, which is still there today. So I found that actually quite moving. And I must say the presentation today, I found that also very moving. It just shows you the work that we have to do. A lot of work is already being done. And I think events like today is important. I think one of the questions was, are we just talking? We are not. Right? I think organizing together, coming together, putting our voice in the political agenda is so important. And that is what the organizers of this meeting have been doing. And I'll do everything I can from the London Assembly to support that work. I think it's important as well to get all the political parties united. I'm a Labour Party politician, very proud of that, but I think it's important to involve the Lib Dems, the Conservatives, everyone who's prepared to speak up for what's going on in Bangladesh today. And so I've seen in this report the amount of work that the committee has already done, meeting people like my MP, Stephen Timms. I'm his constituency agent, election agent for the last 29 years, but also Bob Blackman, who happens to be a Conservative MP. I think that is so important, because the people who are suffering in Bangladesh today, they cannot afford party political differences in this country. They need the support of all democratically elected politicians. So I welcome your attempts to work with everyone. And I know that David Lammy and Catherine West, who's the minister in charge of that part of the world, already have expressed concerns about what's going on in Bangladesh. Human rights, minority rights are going to be upheld all around the world. And you can't just sort of ignore human rights abuses in one country and speak up about human rights abuses in another country. Back last, when was it? April, last month, I was part of a parliamentary delegation to Syria and Iraq. And in Syria in particular, ISIS is still there. And there have been many attacks on Christian churches. And it was so good to see that part of Syria. It's called the Autonomous Area of North and East Syria, which is a quarter of Syria. Different communities coming together to work as a government, and also bringing different community groups, faith groups together. So very inspiring. I personally have been to Bangladesh twice. I was going to go late last year, but because of what happened, I had to cancel the visit. And as I said in a television interview with 18 Bangla, the future of Bangladesh will be decided by the people of Bangladesh. But it's important as well that democratic rights, values that we hold dear, are also upheld. And I do know, speaking to so many British Bangladeshis of all backgrounds, all faith groups, that they're extremely worried about the influence of people like the Jamaat Islamis, who've got a clear agenda to change the secular nature of the country, and also many people, Western observers and others, and also British Bangladeshi secular politicians are worried about attempts to turn Bangladesh into another Afghanistan, and what the Talibanization of Afghanistan has done to the rights of women and minorities and other people in that country. So our job here is to use our job of people like myself, is to use my platform at the London Assembly to do what I can to highlight the plight of minorities. And I'm glad the program refers also to all minorities in Bangladesh. And it's a practical program. I've looked at the mission statement, can't disagree with anything. On page 8, you outlined, quite appropriately named page 8, because there are 8 demands that you're asking for, and they're all on page 8. And again, can't say anything wrong there. So for me, this program is actually about the way forward. And as I say, I'll do everything I can to support you from the London Assembly. I wish you all well. 2 of my council colleagues from Bark and Dagenham Council are still here, Ajanta and Michael. And it shows that we do care. And the attendance of Jazz and Margaret Mullen, both of whom have had a very busy day. I was with Margaret earlier at the museum, Wellens House Museum, celebrating Victory in Europe Day. And she still found time to come here and sat for over an hour and made a speech. So that just shows that she does care as well. So thanks again.
Thank you so much to Mr. Desai for those powerful, powerful words. We are truly inspired on what you have just said. If I could get your attention once again, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Pappu Shaha. He is a real victim who has suffered from atrocities in Bangladesh. I would like to invite him on stage so he can share some words and to recount his stories. Thank you so much. Mr. Pappu Shaha, please come on stage.
No.
Thank you so much to Mr. Papu Shaha for your very harsh but very truthful words that we all sympathize with. And I have nearly started tearing up because you don't. So thank you once again for your. We now move to a moment of gratitude, honoring our esteemed guests with Uttariya shawls as a traditional gesture of respect. For this ceremony, I would like to invite our esteemed guests one by one on stage. Please, can I request Councillor Ajanta Deb Roy from London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, Councillor Michael Pongo from London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, and Councillor Nav Johal from London Borough of Redbridge. They will be felicitated by Mr. Pradeep Shaha, Mr. Deb Prashad Das, and Mr. Narayan Bhattacharjee. Please, can I request you all to come on stage? Thank you so much. Can I also, include, call up on stage Councillor Kumud Joshi from Redbridge. Thank you so much. Sorry, one more guest, please come on stage. Miss Kiran Pashnori. Thank you so much. Miss Kiran, please come on stage. Thank you. Can I also request Mr. Vikram Banerjee to also please come on stage to be felicitated. Can I also request Mr. Chitra Chaudhary to please come on stage to be felicitated? Mr. Chaudhary, please come on stage. Thank you. Can I request Mr. Anjan Shah to please come on stage for the felicitation ceremony, please? Mr. Anjan Shah.
Right. Now Narayana to Kumud Joshi.
Kumud Joshi.
Sorry.
Okay. Ajanta দেন
এই ये প্রদীপ দাদা দাঁড়িয়ে আছে
হ্যাঁ প্রদীপটাকে দিয়ে দেন
দাঁড়ান দিয়ে দেন না ওনারে দেন কাউন্সিল হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা আর কি আছে
সবাই একটু ছবি তুলি তো can I come down and okay
We'd just like to now take a picture. Please come onto the center.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What I do is afterwards, I give it back. I can only give so many to me in my house.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, some of those.
No, that's okay. It's for. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is additional short speech by Swarup Chaudhary, okay? Okay, steering committee member, okay? Swarup Chaudhary, just then closing speech. That's the one, and that's all last, okay?
Thank you, everyone. We are going to end our evening very soon with 2 short speeches. Please, can I invite Mr. Swarup Chaudhary, Steering Member Committee, United Hindu Alliance, to come on stage for a short speech, for a few words on the evening. Thank you so much.
সবাইকে জানাই নমস্কার. Good evening, distinguished guests and brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for joining today. And this is one of the best event. It's really different event. We never have seen London this kind of anything happen before. This is the first time Hindu Alliance, Hindu Conference. And from my heart, very, very thank you to all. Many thanks to join today because we see thousands of people are going to puja, hall full. But really sorry to say, we are not many people here. Though it is a very, very important conference for Hindus in Bangladesh, Hindus, also Hindu around the world. And today we have showed our this kind of history from 1947 to till now, was going on atrocities on Hindus around the world. We need to stop it, and we got, especially Bangladeshi Hindus, we got 8-point demands. And we again asking Bangladesh government to release Chinmoy Das Prabhu and recognize our 8-point demand and get the chance to Hindus, give proper chance to Hindus to live their own country. They are native people in this, from this country, this land. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chaudhary. To bring this powerful evening to a close, I now welcome Mr. Gautam Shaha to deliver the final remarks. Thank you all for being part of this journey with us. Mr. Gautam Shaha, please come on stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The peace only lasts where human rights are respected, where people can practice their basic human rights regardless their religion, color, and ethnicity. Unfortunately, none of them are in practice in Bangladesh. On behalf of United Hindu Alliance UK, I would like to thank the honorable MPs, the councillor from different borough, and distinguished guests. Your generous support has been instrumental in making this event possible and successful. A big thanks to all of you, the attendants, for being here and making this event successful. Finally, I'd like to convey my gratitude to everyone who extremely worked weeks after weeks to make this event successful. And I hope you had a wonderful evening and wish you a safe journey to home. God bless you all. Thank you.
With this, I conclude today's evening. I hope you all enjoyed today's conference and can share with others what you have learnt today. We will continue to do more. I thank the organizers, United Hindu Alliance UK, for organizing this this evening and getting to meet so many important people of today with a voice, with a platform. We will continue to do more with your support. Once again, thank you everyone for being here for so long with us, for bearing with us for every part of this journey. And we hope to see you all again for our next event. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. So today's there's a huge thank you to Ananya Chaudhuri, we call her a Borsha. So her presentation made this event more great and more enjoyable. So thank you again. Thank you from United Hindu Alliance. Thank you from us. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
No, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Next time I will do better. Thank you.